only touch greatness.
Hey guys, it's Darren Mann from 1923 and Animal Kingdom, and I am on the I Only Touch Greatness podcast, episode 600. You think any of them made it?
Depends on the loyalty of their horse. Give a man enough time, he figure his way out of anything. I figure a few will make it. Hope a few do.
Why?
Someday you're gonna run this place. And for your son to someday run it too.
I thought Gia got all of those.
Nah, that would have been a waste. You know, brains need shit like this for school and stuff. Yeah, come on.
Does it have any programs?
Yeah. Check it out. That's pretty cool, right? You want to try a game? They're in this folder right there. Hey, Smurf.
I thought we sold those to Gia.
Baz saved one for me.
It wasn't up to him.
It was his job.
Hey, Smurf. Smurf, I'll pay you back, okay?
With what?
Yeah, I'll find something.
Well, I hope so, because my job just went to shit. Got bills to pay.
What happened?
Marie and Lorenzo got cold feet.
Look, you don't need Maria or Lorenzo. We can do it.
Just the two of us.
Julia and Andrew, too. We can figure it out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You should eat up.
Well,
I kind of want to
praise
call an
be.
audible and talk about Jonah for a second.
Where is she?
Yeah, Jonah and the whale.
Safe and
Well,
sound.
A whale. It was a big fish. A whale is just what
You
we
know,
call
your
it.
hand look a little
Biggest
rough.
fish we know. It's a
There's
misconception.
some things have been keeping me up.
I kind of wonder how many things
Free
we
will's a
have
bitch,
that are
ain't it?
misconceptions. Maybe
This
somebody's
is liable to make the bad calls as the good.
Your story.
You should be up there preaching.
What God placed on my heart was not
Oh,
just
but these people,
Jonah
true
and his
believers,
inability to follow what
they don't want to hear that.
what he had ordained him to do.
Everything's their own damn fault.
Christened him to do.
You know, that's
But
what you made
instead,
me,
it was the
Ray.
people on the boat
A
that
true
had to
believer
pay the
and a
penalty.
fool.
We think that if you
What you're
sin,
doing here,
only
waiting around for her,
eventually
that was pretty damn
I'm
foolish.
here because you lied to me.
Lies of omission.
affect so many
Cancer.
other people
You needed a little nudge.
that were also on that boat with Jonah.
Marina,
And there was a big storm.
your
that came
daughter,
up.
Ray.
I was more father to that girl than her own daddy ever was, you hear me?
And that cheap shit pearl bracelet's the only thing she ever got from that man.
Man, you gave her what?
Had to
A
endure it.
warning
They had
around
to
her
deal with
neck?
it, all because Jonah.
She earned that one herself.
You're tuning into I Only Touch Greatness podcast, Vancouver's best show with Ryan Hayes.
Often imitated but never duplicated. I Only Touch Greatness podcast with Ryan Hayes.
Born in Vancouver. What was childhood like for you in East Van?
Oh man, it was a wild time, you know. I grew up with a single mom in East Van, so my brother and I, he's 6 years older, we spent a lot of time together, and we just roamed Champlain Heights, man, playing a lot of street hockey, all sorts of things. You grow up fast when you get that kind of freedom, you know. We used to ride the bus to Metrotown when I was like 5 years old, but that's just what you did, you know. Learned to cook early too. Life was good, man. A lot of great friends. I think, you know, I call myself the East Van kid because I think there's a great character that comes from the East Side. There's a good work ethic, you know.
Yeah.
It's that like blue collar mentality. You ain't afraid to get dirty, put your head down and do it. And I just feel like it's like a thing of hope for me to give kids. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter you have one dad, no dad, whatever your situation is, you can do anything you want to do. Just depends on how bad you want it, and what you're willing to do for it.
And I know you played hockey and growing up, and you just mentioned the street hockey. We did play a lot of that growing up too in Coquitlam. I'm just in Coquitlam, so yeah, I knew you played hockey. I read even that you went pro.
I played 1 year single A in this, like, it was like slap shot, man. Uh, yeah, in Indiana. It was a good time. I'd played 5 years junior, mostly really going for it in the first three. And then the last two, I just kind of played for fun, went back to junior B. And then after, when I was done junior at 20, I thought, I just got to give it one last go. I had a little bit of itch left, a little drive to figure out what that was all about. So called up the first junior coach I played for when I was 16, got a tryout with his team in the Central Hockey League at that time with the Evansville Icemen. And I was trained. It was a great summer. I was 20. I trained hard, put it all out there, went for it, went down, had a pretty good camp. Ultimately ended up on their single A team, their affiliate, and played out that year, which was insane, man. I lived in the house with a couple guys from the States, and we had the 3 Russian guys in our basement. So just wild stories. A great time, but ultimately, hockey just, wasn't my thing. I had to find something else, and that time came around 21, and I'm so happy though for hockey, because I always go back to hockey when I talk about success in acting, because I think without all those hard times through junior and trying really hard for something that's not easily attainable, something really difficult, and something that gives you a thick skin, you're not afraid to hear no or cut from the team, right? There's a lot of no's in acting, so that certainly helps. Yeah, so I feel like hockey is like the backbone to everything that I've done in life, even though hockey itself didn't necessarily work out for me.
The other East Van guy, Lucic, we have in common being on the podcast. You ever play with him?
Yeah, man, we played Pee Wee and Bantam together.
Okay.
Yes, and we had the same off-ice skills coach for a long time too, Doug Rose. Putting the East Side on the map. He's got his jersey up there in Killarney Ice Rink, where we played together back in the day in Pee Wee and Bantam AAA for Van Miner. And so I've been such a fan of his, and I've loved cheering him on through his career. I love what he's done. He was an undrafted kid of the Dub, and now look, he's won a Stanley Cup, and he's done it all back in Vancouver.
I know, that's totally awesome. I got a question about your favorite. Oh, it's might as well shoot it now. Favorite sports franchise and least favorite sports franchise, and why is it the Bruins?
Oh, what was the last part?
Oh, the least favorite, and why is it the Bruins?
Well,
yeah,
there's
I got the same hat actually.
Grew up a Canucks fan, Pavel Bure jerseys, all that. Speaking of Canucks, though, man, this is my favorite team since that like Bure era when I was growing up. Well, I love the West Coast Express era too, but the Canucks for sure. That's my favorite franchise. I've cheered for them forever. I also cheer for the Capitals, big Ovechkin fan. My dog's named Ovi. And my least favorite sports franchise. Oh, man. I mean, the Bruins and the Rangers have been on that list for a long time.
Yeah, they got to be on the list just because of where we live.
Sore spots there. We could see a rematch, I think, this year maybe.
Of 94 or 2011.
Either or, right?
Or even just to see, the Maple Leafs aren't making it out of the first round, but it would be cool to see the Maple Leafs Vancouver.
It would be 100%. Always good to see the All-Canadian. Been too long.
Couple more names for you that you might have played with. Daniel Amesbury.
No, don't know him.
Okay. Yeah, he's like a tough goon that played throughout the CHL, AHL era. Part of that Danbury Trashers.
Oh, yeah. Heard a lot about those guys.
Yeah, he's now part of the new Danbury team. Another name for you, Big Milos, that you does the GOAT podcast.
Milos Gordic?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I actually was just talking to him the other day. I'm going to jump onto his podcast. We had a very brief time together in Langley. I didn't even get to play a game for them before I was off to Merritt. But he was a real cool guy, and I loved watching him play. He's such a great hockey player, man. And holy smokes, big guy too that can move and play. And great local boy, and great friends with his cousin too.
Oh, perfect. That was his free plug on my show. the How do you start, or when did you start acting, and how did you get into it? I knew your mom was an actress as well, right?
Yeah, yeah. So my mom kind of did a whole bunch of stuff in the industry back in the day, and she was always into the arts and theater and whatnot. And I was a real shy little guy, and so she decided, hey, why not go to an acting class, see if it helps him out, maybe get out of his shell a bit. And so I started taking classes around, I was like 8 years old or so at Tarleton Training in Vancouver. And I really enjoyed it. And I continued on trying to pursue it on the side of, playing hockey as a young kid. Um, and then at 14, it was just too much to try and make auditions and playing, rep hockey. So I just focused on hockey. That's what I wanted to do. Like any good Canadian kid, I had to chase the hockey dream. Um, and then let's see, when I got back into it, was in the off season around my last year junior when I was 19, 20. I started taking classes in Vancouver again. And then full board at 21 when I was done hockey. And yeah, the rest is history. I'm 34 now.
Okay, if you were having a dream dinner party and you can invite 3 other famous people dead or alive, who would you want to sit down at your table? For me,
Tom Brady, 100%.
Okay.
Tom Brady, Alex Ovechkin. And now I got to fill the third. This is hard, man.
So while you think about it, I'll tell you mine. I go with Tupac, Seth Rogen being from Vancouver. I'd love to smoke with him one day. And then I always need some eye candy, so I always go with like Carrie Underwood or Shakira.
You're setting your dinner up right, huh?
Yeah.
You thought this one out a little bit.
Yeah, one to party and drink with, one to smoke with, and one to take home.
Hey! I'm going to go with maybe, the last one's going to be Daniel Day-Lewis. I just love to learn, and I feel like I could learn something so great from all 3 of those guys.
You've had many acting roles over the years. Which one of the roles did you enjoy the most? We're going to talk about all shortly.
That's a tough question, because one of my favorite things about acting is that I'm constantly doing something new. I get bored pretty easily, so that's always a dream. Every job, I've got a new career. I'm a new person chasing new dreams, new goals. So they all have like a special place to me, each one of those roles. But if I had to choose, my favorite, I think, is got to be a movie I just completed that hasn't come out yet, and it's called And on the Eighth Day. I had a lot of fun playing the character of Elvis, not Elvis Presley. His name is just Elvis. And we had a lot of fun shooting that in New Mexico. So right now, that's what I'm feeling, but I have a lot of great memories. I mean, I've loved 1923 and Battled, Animal Kingdom, Giant Little Ones. These ones all pop up right away.
Yeah, I've got a question for each one of those coming up here. Was there one character that you found the hardest to get into? And I instantly think of they had Battled, because you probably had to train to be in that one more than you would for something else.
The physical aspect of Embattled was very difficult, definitely, because even Tyron Woodley, he joked with us one day. He's like, I'd because he was commentating on the fights. He's like, I would way rather fight in a real UFC fight than this shit, because we were doing stunt fights for 12, 14 hours a day, which is pretty exhausting. So the physical aspect, yeah, it was tiring, but I think Jet was quite easy for me to connect to as a person and get into his mind, just as a former athlete myself, and understanding, what he's going for. And he has a bit of a broken relationship with his father. I can understand that. So the hardest to get into, man, I don't know. They're all a challenge and they're all fun in their own
So,
rights. I'm not really sure which one, to be honest.
okay, and for instance, in 1923, did they have to teach you to ride a horse?
Yes, we went to cowboy camp. Is the first thing you do when you get hired on one of Taylor's projects. And we did 2 weeks in cowboy camp in Montana, and holy smokes, man. I had to buy an ice bath. I bought a horse trough next door to me at the local tractor supply, and we'd all chill out in my backyard and fill it up with ice just to get over the sore groins from riding all day. But it's
That's what I
definitely
was
worth it.
wondering.
It's the best way to start a job.
Yeah, I was wondering if they had to train you guys to do that at all.
Yes.
If there was someone famous's career and they were making a movie about them, is it that you could play? Who would it want to be?
These are great questions, man. You're good. I like this.
Yeah.
Someone's famous career. An actor?
Yeah, pretty much. I've got a guy in mind who I would think you would be spot on playing.
Ah, man. I love that's so hard. I love what Bradley Cooper's done with his career. I love the parts. I love that he directs too. I think he seems like a really cool guy. I haven't got to meet him yet. I love his career. I love Brad Pitt's career. I love Leo's career. Tom Hardy. These are all my heroes. It's hard to pick one, man. I'd take any of those guys.
Okay, who I was thinking, Jeremy Renner.
Ah,
I feel
I
like you
love me
guys,
some Jeremy Renner too,
you
man.
kind of look the same too to me.
I think I could play his son. We should get that going.
Yeah, we put it out. We put it out in the universe. So
Wind River is like one of my favorite movies ever.
Oh,
I put that in the tail end of my audition for 1923. At the end of my slate, I put in a little clip from Wind River saying it was my favorite movie ever, just to try and score those brownie points.
of course, of course.
Whatever you can do to stand out a little, right?
Yeah, exactly. I can't wait to give a shout out to me trying to be on Survivor. Now I can use this clip on my Survivor.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be on Survivor, man.
Okay. It's kind of my next question was kind of the same one that led to Jeremy Renner. What kind of training did you do for the role, Jet, where you had to fight your dad? Like, so you did like multiple hours. You were just saying in the gym doing fight training.
Yeah. So thankfully, I had been boxing at that time. I'd been training in boxing for maybe like 5 years or so. So I had some of that stuff down, but the kicking, Muay Thai, and the Jiu-Jitsu is new to me. So that was definitely challenging. We had an awesome team down in Alabama and Birmingham. We trained at SBG Birmingham. Those guys were just awesome, man. And I got to become friends with some wicked fighters there, like Eric Anders and Walter.
Yeah, another guest of the podcast. We talked about that before.
Oh, you had Eric on. That's awesome.
Yeah, we had him on before.
Yeah, your boy. He's a good dude, man. I still try and go down there and train with those guys like once a year. They're just such good guys. Yeah, I was blessed with a wicked team there. So we had a few weeks where we just spent kind of 10 to 12 hours a day working through these fight sequences for Embattled. It was actually our stunt coordinator's longest fight he'd ever coordinated, and he had done a huge resume. It was a 375 beat fight dance there at the finale of that film.
Yeah, I've seen the first 40 minutes of it, and then I fell asleep last night.
Well, you got to find out what happens.
No, I know, but I definitely have it to finish tonight. Have you ever turned down a role?
Yeah, I've turned down lots of stuff. I happily will stay home or work construction or build someone's fence than do an acting job I don't want to do.
Okay. I always wondered, do people do that though? A lot of people turn down roles?
It's a mixed bag. Everybody's different. And, everybody has their own reasons when they do it or why they don't do it. Just for me, when I was done playing hockey and I was going to be an actor, Um, I didn't want to ever burn out of acting or stop liking it like I had kind of halfway through junior, where it kind of became like the thing that I loved was became this job, and it was kind of I was dreading it at times. So I wanted to make sure that I just protected myself as an actor and the longevity of the career and just continued to take roles that I was really passionate about and that I knew I would give all my all. I don't want to do anything that I half-ass and just collect a check. That's not cool to me. I don't think it's fair for those people offering me the job to have me take it unless I fully want to do it. And I've said that before to people. As much as you want me, trust me, you don't want me. And like, you should have somebody that wants to do this so badly that they're going to put in countless hours and they're going to run on that treadmill next to me until they fucking die for that role.
Yeah, you'd rather somebody be 100% in than somebody 50% in.
Yeah, man. Because then what are you doing it for at that point, right? You're just collecting money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it would almost be greedy.
Yeah, I think so. I totally.
Okay, I like that. That's a good answer. Uh, do you have any rituals that get you into characters?
Every character is different, but I definitely have things that I like to do for every single one of them to get into them. Because as soon as I get a job, that's the first kind of step I do is I break down the script and then I start creating the character and I start creating the story of the character outside of the script, all before what he was up to, what his life's all about, just so I know exactly how he ticks and how he reacts in all sorts of different situations. And then depending on how I put that person together, it'll be a different little trick I'll definitely have prior to each day to get into them.
Okay, I always think like in hockey, we got the guys, their pregame rituals. They got to put their left skate on first and their right skate on next, and then their left shin pad, or they put all their left stuff on first. And like, so I was trying to think when I was making the question, what would I,
So
how I
acting
got,
superstitions just as an actor.
yeah, like, you got any of those?
Well, I I do, but they change just like they probably did in hockey. Like I
Yeah.
used to always have, no matter what my call time was, I had to get up and wait and work out. That was my thing for a while. I've learned that sleep is really, really important though, and sometimes it's not the right move to wake up at 3 a.m., especially if you had a late night working and you're only getting 2.5 hours to work out. Not the best move. Um,
You're
I
right.
do not drink coffee when I act. There you go.
Oh,
There's one of my superstitions. I will not drink coffee in the morning.
oh, okay. There's one. That's a good ritual.
Yeah, I just like to be as me as possible. I don't want any stimulants or anything changing me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was it like working the minute you wake up dead with Morgan Freeman? He was such a legend.
Yeah. Man, whenever you get to work with like Morgan Freeman, Helen Mirren, Harrison Ford,
Yeah,
every
I'm
time
getting to that.
it's a pinch myself moment. You feel like, hey, here I am. I made it to this stage. I'm working alongside these great people. Uh, and how grateful I am to get to do that and to get to do scenes with these people that I've looked up to my whole life. It's pretty surreal. Feel really blessed to get to share the screen with those people and to quietly observe them and see what I can take away from what they do because obviously they're all so amazing at what they do.
Was there one thing Morgan Freeman that taught you?
Um, I didn't get to have a ton of time around Morgan,
Okay.
unfortunately. I wish I did. He's such a cool dude. Um, if I was to say he taught me something, it would just be that in observing him work, I loved that I believe he was 85 when we worked together or 84. The guy, knew his lines inside and out, never flubbed, knew his character, was ready to go, a professional.
Yeah.
And, I think that's a part of the hockey background for me, but those kind of people in the acting world, the artists that have that professional side, I really appreciate it and I really respect that, where they're ready to go, showtime, let's do this. There's no
Like
messing around.
they're ready to turn it on, just like a hockey player has to turn it on at game time.
Yeah. Take one, better be great. So I did a Q&A down in LA last week with the Golden Globes, and somebody was asking me about how we don't get a lot of takes, and is that intimidating that we don't get a lot of takes on 1923? And to me, it's no, we get three. That's great. Like, you better be nailing it on take one. This is the All-Star game. You working with Harrison Ford. This isn't some student film you're shooting in Vancouver. Like, what the hell? Show
Yeah,
up,
no shit.
Like, let's go. You should
Yeah.
be game on from the beginning.
Yeah. Right on cue, right to the Harrison Ford, and you worked alongside him, 1923. That was a good story you were just telling about it, but also while you were filming that, was there one thing that he taught you? Because you were really working beside him on this one.
Man, he's such a legend, man. He's such a cool dude. He's just one of the boys, which is it's a really special thing getting to hang out with him because he's so easy to hang out with. He cares so much about what he does. He loves what he does. Um, and that was what was really stood out for me is his passion and how much he cares, given how much he's done. A lot of people kind of, I think, might get, I don't know, a little complacent or bored when they've done as much as he has or Helen has, but they're both so into it still. They both clearly love what they're doing and are still doing it and crushing it, which is so cool to see. Um, and if I learned something from Harrison, oh man, that guy, he's amazing on a horse. We're out there at
Okay.
night. It's freezing in Montana, and he's out there riding, 80 years old. Like, how cool is that? Like, I just look up to him and see what he's doing, and he is an inspiration to me. Like, if I can be riding horses with somebody my age when I'm 80 and
Yeah.
still crushing scenes and creating cool characters and remembering all my dialogue and not having any issues, like, gosh, man, that's the dream. Um, yeah. I
How
don't
how jacked were you to be invited to be a part of that series? And I
know.
mean that whole Yellowstone. And were you a fan of Yellowstone beforehand?
I had watched the first two seasons and I was a big fan. Um,
Okay.
and even more so is that I've been a huge fan of Taylor Sheridan for a long time. I love his movies, like his style. I think he's one of the greatest storytellers of, this generation. Movies like Wind River, like I was talking about before, Hell or High Water,
Yeah.
Sicario, like they're just so good, and he's got such a cool style. It's so grounded and real, and he's just, his heart's in the right place. He's doing the right stuff. So to get to join him on one of his shows is a real, real honor. So I'm stoked, and I love being on 1923.
Perfect. Do you have a favorite Harrison Ford movie? Well, and then we'll move on.
Cowboys and Aliens.
Okay. Okay. I wasn't expecting that one, but okay. Okay, season 6, Animal Kingdom. You played young Baz. Tell us about that show and that role that you were on. And okay, yeah, that's good for now. I got a second part to that question.
Yeah. Animal Kingdom was awesome. Dream job as well. That was my first time working in LA. I had been working in the States since I think 2016, but that was my first time working in Los Angeles, and that was a really cool experience to get to work, on the studio lots of Warner Brothers. That felt like a bit of another like ticking the box dream come true moment.
And you
Um,
felt like you made it?
yeah, and it was just a really cool crew. The fact they had been together for 6 years, they all had such a great shorthand and clearly worked together so well. And John Wells, he's the creator of that show, and he runs that. he runs a really cool set, and I loved his style. I love how his cameras work. Um, Really neat show to get to be a part of. I was stoked. I was a big fan of the show, watching it. So when the
So
audition
you had
came,
already been watching it.
I had already watched it all. So when it came in, I was like, I have to get Young Baz. I have to be Young Baz. So very cool moment for me to get to do that.
Yeah. So do you feel like that role propelled your career? Because now you're doing even bigger things? Because 1923 came after that, correct?
Yeah, the next year. I think every single one of them has done something for me, There's been like another step. I actually I feel very blessed with how my career has gone so far. Um, the fact that I started out in Vancouver, my first job when I was like 21, I think I had one line saying "Whoa, trippy" on some CW show, and then to like slowly work through actor roles to principal roles to guest stars to leads in films to okay, I'm in the States, I'm doing shows. To have to really do all these steps feels like such a great thing to happen. I know some people maybe they land a lead on their first or second go. Um, that sounds terrifying to me because I've got to learn so much along the way from so many people in all these projects that I'm just so grateful to feel like I got this great education from what it's taken to get to where I am.
Yeah, it's kind of like the way you're explaining it, I think about like going up through the ranks of the prospects, and you're coming up through this dub. You got to play in the dub. You got to play in the, and then you play in the AHL, and then you go to the NHL one day. You start on the bench, but you're making it to the second line one day, and then the first line.
Yes, yeah, chipping away, man, creating a really solid base for yourself.
So the new movie Breakwater, it's the dark thriller. I watched it. I tagged in it the other day. Yeah, tell us about this movie and that role. And the movie was really good.
Oh man, I'm glad you liked it. I actually should have mentioned that earlier. That's another one of my favorite projects is Breakwater. Just blanked on it. Yeah, we shot that in North Carolina in 2021 in the fall. So just over 2 years ago.
But during COVID.
Yeah. It was right after I finished Animal Kingdom, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I loved working with James Rowe, the director. It's always a blessing when you get to work with writer directors because they have all the answers, right? Writing themselves.
Yeah.
It's one person to go to. And he was so, just well thought out, meticulous, smart, great storyteller. And then Matt Paul, our head producer, ex-Navy SEAL, man, such a cool dude, hands-on, ready to get in the dirt with you. And then Dermot Mulroney, another wicked guy I got to work with. Talk about a cool dude. I learned a lot from Dermot. He's just such a loving, caring guy, and he spreads that love and care to all his sets. And I think that's such a beautiful thing to do at work, man. Make people smile, help them have a better day.
You were in a movie at one point in your childhood where you played a hockey role. Game 7, Stanley Cup, I read.
So there's two. There's two films near the beginning of my career that were both hockey. The first one was Stanley's Game 7. That was a short film that we did for the Hockey Hall of Fame. I think it might even still be playing there, actually. We got to shoot it in the town I live in now, too, which is Penticton.
At the Bees Stadium?
Yeah, we shot it at the old one, Memorial.
Oh, the old one.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Actually, the new arena probably wasn't even built back then. I don't think it was.
Oh, so it's that old.
Yeah. Oh, the old Memorial beauty rink, man. Yeah. And then I did a film called Hello Destroyer, hockey film. And that was in, I believe, 2014. And that was my start to breaking into the US. Even though it was a small role, Canadian film made for 500,000, I think. It did really well. Had an awesome premiere at Toronto Film Festival. And that's where I found my U.S. agent, who I still have now, I guess 10 years later, which is pretty cool.
What was it like to finally get to put them together, acting and hockey?
Oh, acting and hockey.
Easy. Probably easy for you.
It's the dream, man.
Yeah.
And I've still got a lot of those stories that I'll put together here when I start creating my own content, because I've got a lot of hockey stories that I definitely want to tell. But anytime I get to really mix acting with, athleticism, like in Embattled, it's always a bonus for me. I enjoy that. Love getting down physical,
I know that you still do, like you just said, jiu-jitsu or whatnot. Have you always trained MMA, or did it just start since Embattled?
I trained boxing before Embattled, but I didn't train MMA. But since Embattled, I've been training jiu-jitsu still. That's where I'm going to go right after this, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I love training jiu-jitsu, and I train Muay Thai still, and looking to make another fight movie here eventually. So got to stay on point,
So you are fighting too, like pro fighting?
No. I said looking to make another fight movie. So I got to stay on point. Yeah. No,
do you have a favorite?
Got to keep the mug safe, so no pro fighting.
Yeah, no shit. That's what I was wondering. Else you end up looking like me. Take a couple punches to the face. Take a couple high sticks without a visor. Favorite MMA fighter?
Ever or current?
Sure. How about both?
GSP ever. I mean, how do I not? Especially as a kid, Talk about a guy who's a professional. That guy's amazing. I love his mentality and how he does things.
He was just in Coquitlam when the UFC was in Vancouver it was June, but
yeah, I saw you posted a photo with him, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's badass, man. Current favorite? Oh man. Oh, dude, that's tough. Maybe Justin Gaethje. I love watching him.
Okay.
Yeah. I really like watching him. I'm a big TJ Dillashaw fan too, but I know he's kind of retired at the moment.
Yeah. Definitely GSP would be my favorite one of all time. And then now there's an Ian Gary coming. He's coming up the ranks. It's really good too. And then, Vancouver's got a whole bunch of fighters that are just pushing into the UFC right now.
That's awesome. That's what we want to hear.
Yep. Do you collect anything?
I collect hats.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a lot of hats.
Yeah, I got a lot of hats too. I always have your hat has to match the color, your tie or your shoelaces or your shoes. Like shit's got to go all the way down. Like,
hey, why not, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. What's your favorite movie of all time to watch?
Pineapple Express.
Oh, nice one. For me, it's always Super Bad.
That's great. That might be my wife's favorite.
That's how I became to always having a love for Seth Rogen. I watched that movie like 1,000 times when it first came out. I even bootlegged it on burnt CDs. Like,
yeah, man.
Such a good movie.
Are the best, man. I think I've seen Pineapple Express 100 times easily.
And of course, and Danny McBride's another one of these people that I've ever since Kenny Powers. I just fucking love this guy.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Legend.
Yeah, Kenny Powers is actually based off of John Rocker, the baseball player who I had on the podcast.
Oh, no doubt. That's awesome.
What's one thing? This one's kind of a tricky question, and I've never shot it before. What's one thing people lose consistently?
Something people lose consistently?
Yeah.
I think people lose their keys a lot, right?
Okay, that's the answer most people gave. The odd person threw out their mind. Like people lose
that mind, keys, and phone went through my head.
Okay. You mentioned the Golden Globes a couple nights ago. How was your time down there and your experience doing that?
Oh man, it was so cool. Just being in that room with all that talent, all those amazingly talented people, all these stars you've looked up to and watched in films your whole life. Pretty damn cool. It's definitely my greatest experience watching an award show. Way more fun than watching on TV is because TV you only get to see what they show you. But I just had such a great time looking around the room and like, oh, what do they think now? Oh. And being inspired. I felt really inspired too, and motivated by being around all those great filmmakers and storytellers and just something more to strive for.
It's like fuel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's great for us to have something that we're still digging for, not to get complacent and still know that there's always something to learn and a new level to get to.
If you were an animal, what animal would you be?
I'm some kind of cat for sure. Quick,
Okay.
I don't know, maybe like like a bobcat or something.
Oh, okay. One of those in the interior BC bobcats?
I'm a Okanagan bobcat.
Yeah, there you go. See, I always go with a dolphin because I look like a dolphin because I got no hair and a nose.
Hey,
So,
bro, dolphins are real smart though.
and they are, and they got great personality until they're cornered into it, and then as soon as they have to defend themselves, like me, I would do the same.
Hey, man, why wouldn't you? You got it.
Another joke question: if you were a flavor, what flavor would you be?
I feel like I'm like cinnamon or something, something a little. It's a little bit of spice in there. There's a little bit of intrigue.
I always go with mint because I think that a mint.
You're fresh, huh?
Yeah, that's another one. Favorite sports icon?
Tom Brady.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's with Belichick going yesterday too. That's the end of the era.
No doubt. Weird, hey?
Well, for me, having the Pete Carroll go the day before really hurt me. But
so, did he retire or?
They've asked him to mutually part ways with a possible job opening in the front office. They basically forced retirement.
Do you think he's going to keep coaching?
I don't know if he might stay with the Seahawks, and then he won't be coaching the Seahawks. But they've already made sure he's not coaching. I think it's kind of like forcing him to retire. Like giving him like a WWF like Hall of Fame run here. Like you get to just hang out in the front office and take pictures.
Yeah.
Because he's a great people person.
Such a good coach.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Jersey number. When you're playing hockey, what was your jersey number?
Oh, usually something with a 9 in it or 9.
Okay. If you could play any pro sport, what would it be? Obviously hockey or?
Yeah.
There's more money to be made playing golf or some shit. But.
Yeah, a lot easier on the body too.
Yeah.
I think hockey or boxing.
Okay. Where were you during the 2011 Stanley Cup riots? And hopefully that isn't a trick question and you were actually downtown, but.
I was downtown trapped in a friend's apartment building with the SWAT team downstairs not allowing us to leave. So we just watched from 20 floors up while the city burned. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts. I got the call that it was happening. We were at the John B. and then we were heading downtown and I got the call like, you can't come down here. Like, do not let my son go down there my buddy's mom called and was like, do not let my son go downtown right now. Like, so we ended up not going downtown and the whole city burned to the ground.
It was crazy, eh?
Yeah, it was. Imagine what they'd do if you win. I would sure as fuck hope not that they would not burn the city down. What's your next movie role or show to come out?
I will be going back to season 2 of 1923.
All right, there's another season coming?
Yeah.
Is there going to be also the 1883? Are they getting a second season?
I don't know about that.
Oh.
I don't think so. I think that's...
No, I didn't think so. I read it was only one time.
But we're coming back.
Perfect.
Should be back soon, and hopefully, I will assume, but don't quote me, it should be out this year.
Okay, sweet. The one part, I don't know if I mentioned this to you one time, the first episodes of the 1923 with the nuns, how the way they treat people. I can't believe that really happened in our lifetimes, or not our lifetime, but anyone we know's lifetime.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems like it was pretty true, right?
Yeah, pretty awful stuff, that's for sure.
That's for sure. What remake of a movie or a show would you want to be a part of if they were to reboot something?
Ooh. Oh man. How about Back to the Future?
Okay.
I'll yeah.
It'd be cool to tie it all together, being that Michael J. Fox is also from our Lower Mainland here.
Yeah, maybe I could be Marty McFly Jr. or something.
Yeah, like his kid.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's put that in the universe.
I love that.
So where do you call home nowadays?
Penticton, BC.
Okay. How often do you get back here?
Whenever I'm not working, I come back and hang out. It's a great place to lay low, call home. Love it.
Yeah, that's for sure. Do you get noticed in the streets and stuff? People taking pictures, asking you for autographs?
Not that often. Here and there, people notice me at the pub or whatnot. But
do you enjoy that, or do you get annoyed?
Oh no, it's I never get annoyed. No, never get annoyed. Always just very grateful that people are paying attention to the things that I'm doing. I think I'm lucky. There's so much stuff to watch out there. So it's cool that they're watching stuff that they recognize me from.
Couple more. Go-to drink.
I love club soda, man. I just like a good old spicy party water.
Oh, okay. Just vodka and water?
No, I'm off the sauce these days.
Oh, you don't drink. Okay.
Yeah, so I've just been crushing the soda waters or the Corona Sun Brews, the zeros. I love those.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, no, so actually coming up, tomorrow's my birthday. So on Monday, every year after my birthday, I get off the booze because I just had a long football season.
Yeah, you did. Well, hey, man, have a great birthday tomorrow.
Oh, thank you. What are some of your hobbies outside of acting?
Oh, well, martial arts for sure. I love going to the jiu-jitsu gym here and hanging out with the guys or training Muay Thai. Cooking. I love to cook. What else?
You keep the wife eating good then? So you're the cooker and you keep the wife eating good?
I am the cooker.
Yeah.
I like cooking.
Good.
It's a good time. It's a good place to, just kind of zen out and it's kind of meditating, I feel.
Okay. Yeah. Well, what will we find on your iPod?
A very eclectic mix of music from gangster rap to country to old school rock, you name it.
Do you have a dream actor or actress that you wish to work with?
Oh, man. It's always a blessing when you get to work with any of those notable greats. Ones that I haven't had the chance yet, I'd love to work with Leo. That would be absolutely amazing if I had to name one. Yeah.
There was enough room on that board for him not to drown in Titanic. She could have just moved over.
I totally agree with you, man.
You could have put 2 dogs on there.
What happened to I'll Never Let Go? That changed when that rowboat showed up, huh?
Yeah, right? She let go. How important is the Vancouver film industry to you?
In what sense? Just in general?
More like how, because I know it's really popular amongst Hollywood and called Hollywood North. Do you now that you're do most of your filming in the States, Do you ever hear about Vancouver and like what's the legacy it's left on Hollywood? Is kind of the question.
I feel very blessed to be from Vancouver in the sense of I think it's such a great place to get your foot in the door in acting, and there's a lot of opportunities to book yourself some great roles, actor, principal, guest star. It becomes a little more difficult to get the leads out of Vancouver, which is it's tough. It's such a complicated scenario, really, as to why. So I won't go down that rabbit hole with you today, but uh, I really am grateful for the community, and I hope that we can continue to build the Vancouver film community and continue to hire locals, Canadians, and see them get a fair crack at the bigger parts, and to see them get paid appropriately too would be the most important to me.
That's good. Good answer. Last question. Favorite award you've ever won? Because I know you won a few.
Uh,
It could be in hockey too.
Favorite award, probably winning one of the Leo awards that I've won. And which one? They're each one of them special. I won for Giant Little Ones. That was really special. It was my first win. Really special movie to me. I won for Embattled. Also, great experience. Hold that dearly. And then Fortunate Son from the TV side. Um, and I loved doing that TV show. That was one of my favorite times, actually. And I also forgot that earlier. I really had a good time working on Fortunate Son. We shot that in Calgary.
Yeah.
Such a great group of people, cool scripts. That was a time where I definitely was feeling proud of what we were putting together as Canadian content with Canadian artists. I thought it was a really special show for that.
Okay, well, the floor is yours now. If there's anything you want to talk about or promote or say anything you want.
Oh man, your questions are so good, bro.
I know, that's the last one, though.
Ah,
Is there anything that I forgot that we should have talked about?
I don't know. I think you nailed it all. What do you think?
Yeah, I hope so. Now that I mean, I didn't know how many chances I ever gonna get to talk to you again once you become a big superstar.
No, I'll get back on here, man.